And now let's move on to the next presenter, and the next presentation will be Unlocking Urban Efficiencies, Harnessing the Power of Bologna's Digital Twin and Traffic Data Analysis. Please welcome Filippo Dalla.
Okay, good morning everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I wanted to thank you, the municipality of Tallinn, for inviting me. So, first thing first, I'm Filippo Dalla and I'm a physicist, but I'm trying my best not to be boring here, so I promise that there will be no formulas here in this presentation. So, what I will talk about is the experience of working inside the project of the digital twin of Bologna, but from the perspective of the city science laboratory in which I work, which is based inside the Department of Physics and Astronomy. So we're going to go through our vision, so our idea of a digital twin. Then we're going to see the data and the tools and the methods that we have. And then we're going to go through the solution that we propose and our progresses and where do we currently stand. So this is going to be a presentation of a smaller view with respect to maybe the one before, but I really wanted to share with you the path that led us to the solution that we got. So, speaking about our role in this project, we work inside a particular work package which is dedicated to traffic and mobility. And basically, apart from what all of you already have in mind, I'm sure, which is a control room for traffic, for city traffic, we wanted to find a use case that truly captures the power of the digital twin concept. So for us is really important the link that goes back to the physical reality. So the channel that enables us to actuate the optimizations that we infer with the models directly into the city to improve our living. And the more automated that is, and for us, the better it is. So, what do we have? We start from the mobility data. As you already know from the presentation before, the Emilia-Romagna region and Bologna is filled with sensors. So we have 862 magnetic coils just in the area of Bologna that is providing flow measurements. Basically, when a car steps on a magnetic coil, the presence is revealed. So in green, you can see the Bologna road network, and in red, the percentage, the fraction of the road network which is covered by the sensors. And the kind of typical behavior that we observe is on the picture on the right, but I will talk about it later. So, obviously the first steps are to process the data. So, we start from the open platform in which the mobility data are stored, and you can use it as well if you want. But the problem was that the resolution was too low, so we asked for higher resolution, basically from 1 point every hour to 1 point every 5 minutes. That gave us a better resolution, obviously, but not perfect. So we asked for real-time data, but the request is still pending because the company that owns the sensor is private, and in order to give us the real-time data, they will have to change the agreement with the administration, and that takes time, obviously. And that was our first challenge in building this solution. Then other challenges were to, obviously, as you well know, to avoid the anomalies, to cure the divergences. Some of them are clearly events in real life, like a car parked for a day above the magnetic coil. Some others are just systematic errors, and there's also a small percentage of the magnetic coils that doesn't work at all. So, after processing the data, we tried to use them. So we build a traffic simulation which can try to reproduce the traffic flows of the city. So we build an agent-based traffic simulation which can be regarded as a mesoscopic model. I will not go into the technical details, obviously, but just as you know, because it's important, is a kind of model which is easier to validate because the behavior of a car depends on what does the car next to it, but the velocity of the cars is assigned by using a function of the density or the flow alternatively. So that is the point in which we can put our real data from the sensor and make the simulation more realistic. We actually validated this simulation by performing an experiment in a small area inside a subnetwork of Bologna, which is via Stalingrado. So we used the origin-destination matrices and also the magnetic coils of the region. And we looked at the outputs, the simulated output versus the real output of the magnetic coil, and we obtain a good agreement, as you can see. So we kind of moved on with our simulation validated. So this could be obviously deployed, but this is just a simulation. It doesn't capture the power of a digital twin, so we moved beyond. Basically, Bologna has one big problem, among others, obviously, which is the congestions, the daily congestions. So, as you can see here, this is an aggregated average of all this, the data of all the 862 magnetic coils in a normal day. And as you can see here, the rapid drops on the flow shows the congestions arising during the rush hours from 8 to 10 a.m. and from 5 to 7 p.m. That kind of block the city. As you can see also on a random screenshot of the Google Maps situation, the problem is quite big. Obviously, we don't have the Google Maps data because nobody does. But so this is a huge problem for the administration because in these days we have at least 2 big road construction projects going on, and also for the citizens, as you can easily imagine, because of the increased travel times and the level of pollution. So a solution is to be found. Another key aspect of the city of Bologna is that the backbone, the infrastructural backbone, is quite old. So we have a high density of building, as you can see, and very narrow streets. And that means that there's basically no room for the roundabouts. The entire traffic is regulated just with the traffic lights. So we thought that this could be an opportunity because we can see the system as a high number of control parameters to be used to optimize some aspect of the road network. And that is our starting of the solution, let's say. So obviously, this idea is not brand new because even Bologna has already a control system for the traffic lights. But basically, it works like this. If you have a congested direction revealed by the sensor, then more congested direction than the other, then the algorithm suggests the administration to increase the green time of the more congested direction. But this algorithm has 2 problems. One is not automated, so it's slow and it takes a decision process and days and days of. And then is purely local because we don't know the response of the system if we interfere with one intersection at the time. So what we propose is a more advanced algorithm because the data we have, the density and flow data we have, they provide also information about the city's, the cluster, the congested cluster of roads that are basically group of roads, as you can see here, group of adjacent roads that share the same degree of congestion. So With this, we thought about improving the algorithm, trying to interfere with the intersection only if we are on the edge of a congested cluster. That means that the ingoing streets are more congested than the outgoing streets of the intersection. And with this, we hope that by intervening when and only the cluster formed and at these boundaries, this action could result in solving the cluster and mitigate the enlargement and the merging of this congested cluster. So basically, that is finally the use case that we were looking for. We tried to put the solution, the algorithm, inside a digital twin solution. So everything starts from the simulated data because the platform is still not deployed. So we have not the link from the physical reality and the real-time data flow to the simulation. So for now, it's just simulated. And then the simulated data are directly inserted into the traffic simulation. And from now on, the simulation is running the entire day and looking for congested cluster. Once the congested cluster begin to form, the algorithm tries to infer the instruction to give to the traffic light. So, as before, if we are in the boundary of a congested cluster, the algorithm try to say to the traffic light, if one direction is more congested than the other, you increase the green time of that direction. And then the instructions are directly sent to the traffic simulation. Obviously, in a scenario in which this platform is deployed, the instruction will be given directly to the physical reality, so to the real traffic lights. But for now, it's just inside the simulation. So what we got is actually good result because we analyzed the feedbacks on the simulation, and we found that with respect to a situation in which the optimization algorithm is not active, we found very good and higher score on the density flow diagram. That basically means that at a given density, the optimized simulation runs at a higher flow of cars. So that means that the network is more resilient to high density, so to congestions. And we also looked at the travel time, that is the main observable that one citizen can experience while going through the Bologna's road network. And we found that at any given density, the optimization simulation has lower travel time. That is very good for us. So, in the end, where do we stand? Basically, it's here. So we have not yet deployed this solution, but we have great results on the simulation. So the next step will be obviously to validate the effectiveness of the solution. So to avoid gridlocks, avoid extreme impacts on the traffic light phases. We don't want to block entire neighborhood just to solve the congestion. And we have to ensure the rapidity of the impacts because the deployment process will put latency time into the picture. So regarding the deployment, we have to yet study the compatibility with another algorithm that Bologna already have, which is a priority system for buses when it comes to traffic light control. And obviously take into account the latency time. Another key issue is to implement an ontology, because we know that we are inside a bigger picture of a digital twin project which is ongoing in Bologna. So for us, finding an ontology to make the platform more integrable with other experiments is a key factor to obtain a very good project. So that is something we are trying to put in our solution. And yeah, probably this is one of the things that I will ask you in the coffee breaks if I find some hints in your presentation, so be ready. And that's it, basically. So this is us, and thank you for your attention.